The gravel crunched under his boots as the first fist flew, but the tomb guard didn't flinch. He shouldn't have left his post 21 steps from the tomb of the unknown, and he'd sworn never to break stride. Yet there he was, white gloves stained red, slamming a biker twice his age into the sacred grass of Arlington. The old vet wheezed on the ground, metals glinting like forgotten stars, his heart skipping beats no pacemaker could catch. Tourists froze, phones trembling in their hands. A few cheered. One mom shielded her kids' eyes. To them, it looked like a parade gone wrong, just another stiff and blue playing hero. But what no one whispered, not even the sirens closing in, was that this tomb guard had just shattered a century of silence to save a man who'd stormed Normandy. And the shadows of those white crosses, they were watching every damn move. Before we dive into the story, where are you watching from? Let us know in the comments. And if you believe that values like honor, courage, and sacrifice still matter, join us in keeping their legacy alive. The sun hung low over the rolling green hills of Arlington National Cemetery on Memorial Day, casting long shadows across the endless rows of white marble headstones that stretched like silent soldiers standing at attention. The air was thick with the scent of freshly cut grass and blooming dogwoods, a gentle breeze whispering through the leaves like the faint echo of old war stories. In the distance, the bugle played taps, its mournful notes drifting on the wind, pulling at the hearts of everyone gathered there. Families in their Sunday best placed flags and flowers, veterans with faded caps tipped low in respect, and tourists snapping quiet photos, all paying homage to the fallen. But amid the solemnity, one figure stood out like a statue carved from unbreakable resolve. Sergeant Jack Harland, the tomb guard. Jack was 28, built like a linebacker from his days in the Marines. With close-cropped brown hair and eyes hidden behind the dark shades of his uniform, he wore the full kit of the 3rd Infantry Regiment, the blue tunic crisp as a new dollar bill, white gloves spotless, the black kepi hat perched just so, and the ceremonial M14 rifle slung across his chest, bayonet gleaming. Every 21 steps, he'd pivot with mechanical precision, heels clicking on the black granite plaza overlooking the tomb of the unknown. March, pause, turn. March, pause, turn. It was a ritual unchanged since World War I, a vigil that demanded absolute stillness no matter the storm raging inside. Sweat beaded under his collar in the May heat. But Jack didn't flinch. This wasn't just duty. It was legacy. His granddad had stormed Normandy, come home with a purple heart and stories he only whispered on nights like this. Jack could almost hear the old man's gravelly voice. Son, God in the unknown ain't about the rifle. It's about remembering every face that got left behind. Off to the side, weaving through the crowd with the slow gait of a man who'd outlived too many friends, came Colonel Elias Eagle Thompson. At 82, Elias was a shadow of the hotshot B-52 pilot who'd rained hellfire over Hanoi back in '72. His frame was wiry now, shoulders stooped under a lightweight khaki jacket adorned with faded ribbons, the Silver Star from Normandy, the Distinguished Flying Cross from Vietnam, and a cluster of campaign stars that told tales of beaches stained red and skies thick with flak. His white hair caught the sunlight like fresh snow, and a pair of wire-rimmed glasses perched on his nose, fogging slightly as he clutched a small bouquet of white carnations. Elias paused at the edge of the amphitheater, his gnarled hand tracing the inscription on the nearby headstone. Here rests in honored glory an American soldier known but to God. He murmured a quiet prayer, a voice cracking like dry leather. Miss you, Tommy. 60 years since the bulge and it still feels like yesterday. We made it home, but damn if it don't ache sometimes. Elias straightened as best he could, his free hand drifting to his chest where, beneath the fabric, a pacemaker ticked away like a loyal old clock. The docs had put it in 5 years back, after a ticket that gave out mid-VFW barbecue. Avoid the excitement, Colonel, they'd said. But excitement, heck, Memorial Day was excitement, wrapped in remembrance. He shuffled closer to the changing of the guard ceremony, nodding to a cluster of tourists, a Texas family with 2 wide-eyed kids in cowboy hats. The dad, a burly fellow with a Spurs cap, tipped his hat back. Morning, sir. You serve? Elias chuckled a low rumble that carried the draw of his Alabama roots. Yes, sir. From D-Day to the Ted Offensive. Flu bombers mostly. You boys enjoying the show? The kid may be 10 piped up, pointing at Jack on his internal march. Dad, that guy's like a robot. Does he ever blink? Elias knelt a bit, wincing at the twinge in his knees. Son, that ain't no robot. That's a United States Army soldier. He blinks plenty in his dreams where he remembers why he's standing there. Now hush. The guard's changing. Jack executed his turn with flawless timing, the click of his heels echoing like a heartbeat across the plaza. For a split second, his gaze, hidden behind those shades, locked on Elias. No words, just a subtle nod, the kind that passes between brothers in arms. Elias returned it, feeling a swell in his chest that had nothing to do with his faulty heart. These young bucks, they kept the fire lit. He settled on a nearby bench, the carnations resting in his lap, and let the ceremony wash over him. The wreath-laying detail approached, rifles snapping to present arms, and the crowd fell silent as a pin. But like that never lasts long in a world full of fools. From the parking lot beyond the iron gates, a low growl cut through the air, Harley engines revving like angry hornets. 3 bikes roared into view, kicking up gravel as they skidded to a halt near the visitor center. The riders dismounted with swagger, leather vests patched with fake outlaw insignias, chains rattling like bad omens. Leading the pack was Ray Hawk Dawson, 35 and mean as a junkyard dog. His shaved head tattooed with the snarling eagle that matched the fury in his blood-eyed eyes. He was all barrel chest and beer gut crowned into a black leather jacket that smelled of stale smoke and regret. Flanking him was Chena, a wiry woman with bleach blonde hair and a switchblade tattoo on her neck, and Mike, a lanky weasel of a man with greasy ponytails and a perpetual sneer. Raced back on the grass, eyeing the headstones like they owed him money. Look at this circus. Bunch of old flags and dead heroes. What a waste of good real estate. He laughed a bark that turned heads and slung an arm around Tina. Come on, let's find something worth stealing. But these geysers got trinkets. Tina smirked, lighting a cigarette. Yeah, Huck. Metals fetch a good on eBay. Remember that purple heart we flipped last month? Mike nodded eagerly, cracking his knuckles. Hell yeah, easy pickings here. No cops in sight. They sauntered toward the amphitheater, boots thudding disrespectfully close to the graves. Elias spotted them first, his old pilot's instincts prickling. He'd seen their type in Saigon. Bars. Drifters who hated anything that smelt of duty. Ray's eyes landed on Elias's jacket, zeroing in on the glint of those ribbons like a hawk on a field mouse. Well, well, check out Grandpa Attaboy over there. Loads of bring for a fossil. Elias didn't rise to it first, just adjusted his glasses and murmured to the Texas dad beside him. Folks like that, they come and go. Wind blows them through. But Ray wasn't one to be ignored. He strode over, boots scuffing the path, and loomed over Elias, blocking the sun. Hey, Fossil, those ribbons real or you buy them at the Army surplus store? Elias looked up slow, meeting in Ray's glare with the steady calm of a man who stared down MIGs at Mach speed. Son, these ain't toys. Earn him flying for Uncle Sam. Normandy beaches, Hanoi skies. You got a problem with that? Ray's lip curled and he leaned in closer, breath reeking of cheap whiskey even at noon. Normandy? That's ancient history, Pops. Like dinosaurs. Me? I served 2 tours in the sandbox. Got nothing but a bad back and a government check that don't cover half the miles on my truck. And you send pretty with your fairy tales? He jabbed a finger at Elias's chest, right over the pacemaker scar. Hand over the bring or I make you. The Texas family edged back, the dad whispering, easy now. But Elias held his ground, voices even as a southern summer. Boy, you touch me and you'll regret it faster than an FA in boot camp. Walk away. Tina cackled, flicking her ass toward a headstone. Listen to him. Huck thinks he's John Wayne. Mike grabbed Elias's arm, yanking him from the bench. The carnations tumbled to the ground, petals scattering like fallen leaves. Come on, Gramps, fork it over.